Yo, what's up guys? Bajheera here. So for this video, I'm going to be walking you through a hot topic for right now, and of course something we talk about quite a bit on stream, which is which legendaries should warriors craft, specifically arms warriors for PvP. This will also go over probably some Fury and Prot things lightly, but as you guys know, my focus tends to be arms warrior for PvP. So that'll be kind of the lens through which we are viewing these legendaries and ranking them in terms of what I think can be effective. And it's going to be a relatively short list, but let's go ahead and take a look. The following legendary powers are available to all specializations. So these are the things that are going to be available to everybody. And of course, we're looking at this on Icy Veins. Shout out to Icy Veins for providing this. You can also look at these up on things like Wowhead, but I like this particular article because it is showing exactly where you can get all these as well, which I think is helpful. Leaper, this is basically the heroic leap legendary. You're going to see that a lot of these legendaries are inspired by legendaries from Legion, from set bonuses in the past, from items in the past, and that's fine. That's pretty cool. I don't just to let you know, these are probably none of these are going to be something that you use, probably, but I'd like to show them to you because it can be kind of fun, and when you can craft multiple legendaries, it might be kind of neat. And I don't want you guys to make decisions based on your legendaries, based off just like, well, he said this isn't good, so I'm not going to use it. If you like the look of Leaper, for example, 2 heroic leap charges, you want to just hop around in world PvP, you want to be able to hop around in the world, you want to be jumping around in an arena, do it. It's not necessarily bad. It's just when you have the choice of a legendary to make, that's not probably going to be the one that I pick first things first. But as you guys probably saw from my Covenant video, hey, you never know, man. Sometimes you got to follow your heart. Sometimes you got to follow the Covenant or the legendary that you think is fun, and go from there. But I don't think that you're going to be heroic leaping around an arena. That's probably not going to be your main thing, but it could be kind of cool from ability, right? You could leap into combat. You could chase people down. You could leap away from combat. A great way to not take damage is just to not be there to get hit. So you can jump around the pillars and things like that. This combined with Night Fae, for example, for those crazy Night Fae warriors out there, you're going to have a lot of mobility. So, could be a cool one. Probably not the one that I'm going to pick, but could be neat. And I think this is going to be like a fun one to craft later on, just because of how much extra utility you get for jumping around. Misshapen Mirror, spell reflection lasts 60% longer and applies to your nearest ally. This is another one of those legendaries that probably not going to be the one that I craft first, but it's going to be one that you want to craft so you can swap to it when you're fighting caster heavy teams or teams where your spell reflect on your allies is going to be that much more important. Keep in mind you also have the Overwatch PvP talent, which allows you to intervene and have a spell reflect effect on your teammates. So combined with this legendary, that could be really, really powerful, especially if that spell reflect is affected by the duration of this. I'm not sure that it is, but we can probably test that out. But that's pretty powerful stuff. The Misshapen Mirror, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that one. Alright. It doesn't actually... So this one doesn't... Let's see, where does it drop from? I'm pretty sure this one said it drops from like your chest quest, I believe. I don't know why it doesn't show it right here, but whatever. Oh, it does it right here. Source of Misshapen Mirror rewarded it's reward from the Great Vault. Okay, I wonder why it's like this. Anyway, seismic reverberation. This may also be a reward from the vault, potentially. Maybe that's how it works. Anyway, this is a whirlwind one. Maybe it could be fun for dungeons. If whirlwind hits 3 or more enemies, then it hits them 1 additional time for 80% damage for arms, and then 100% damage for Fury. Now, Fury with a whirlwind build and this thing could be a lot of fun. So, so I'm recording this first thing in the morning. I gotta wake up a little bit. If you really like that whirlwind build for Fury and you just want to do dungeons all the time, or you're like a AoE farmer or something like that, I don't know. There's applications, but you could use this. This could be fun for you. For Prot, Whirlwind or Revenge hits 3 or more enemies. It hits one additional time for 40% of the damage. So that could be kind of interesting. Once again, not something I'm going to craft for PvP, but these legendaries do a lot of really neat stuff. And if it fits into your playstyle in a particular way and you want to go for it, do it. Because it's gonna take some soul ash to really pump up your main legendary. Like your first craft is probably gonna be something that you pump up quite a bit. But you do have the option to make a couple different legendaries, even if they're a little bit lower item level. And that might be something you want to do to have yourself a set of legendaries that you can swap between depending on different things that you want to do in the game, rather than just having one big pumper legendary that you keep cranking the item level on. So, Signet of the Tormented Kings, really fun legendary. Super cool. This is the one that I've been talking about a lot. Activating Bladestorm, Recklessness, or Avatar grants Recklessness, Bladestorm, or Avatar to you, depending on which one you use, right? So if you activate Bladestorm, it'll either cast Rec or Avatar. If you cast Avatar, it'll cast Bladestorm or Rec, which is really cool. This comes from one of the bosses in the raid. The thing about this one is it's really pumper and it's really fun. I just don't know if it's something that you can rely on for PvP, because it's something I had fun with on the beta, but if you're, you know, the main situation that springs to mind is having this accidentally break CC for you, right? So say you're fighting, you know, you're fighting something that can root you, and you have somebody on your team that has breakable CC, like a mage or even a lock, or a hunter, for example. These are comps that you're likely going to be playing as a warrior. Your hunter lands a trap, you get rooted, you press Avatar to break the root, and you immediately cast Bladestorm on accident because of this legendary, and it breaks the CC, and then your entire go is ruined. And your cooldowns are off. You're going off cooldown too. So your CC DRs are ruined. Your cooldowns are off cooldown, and you're just gonna let the enemy team's healer free heal through all of your big damage with Avatar. So really cool legendary. Probably a sick legendary for PvE. Like really fun legendary for PvE. Probably like one of your best ones, if not the best one for PvE, for you PvE warriors out there. But for PvP, probably not something that you're going to craft first. But definitely another fun one. This is probably one of my favorites. It's just not probably what I'm going to craft for PvP. So the Arms Warrior legendary powers in particular, this is where the juicy stuff comes from, right? This is where we're going to be getting the stuff that we actually like to see. Battle Lord, this one is really interesting to me. It's really easy to get to. Your slam has a 40% chance to reset the cooldown of Mortal Strike and reduce the rage cost of your next Mortal Strike by 12%. So the thing about this one is it seems like it will make your rotation so much smoother and nice, because basically what you do when you're slamming is you have nothing else to do. So you're slamming to just do a little bit of damage, spend some rage, and try to proc an overpower for a nice free hit, and to continue your rotation. The thing about it is, like, if you slam and it procs a Mortal Strike too, then every time, like, basically, like, every other time you slam, 40% chance is huge. Every other time you slam, it's going to proc an overpower and a Mortal Strike, so you can immediately, bang, overpower for free, and then Mortal Strike for, like, half the cost that it was before. So this seems really, really cool for me for PvP. It's just going to be, like, probably a consistent damage kind of thing, rather than a mega burst damage kind of thing, because Mortal Strike is a pretty hard-hitting ability, but it's not like a mega hit. It's just like, it's the kind of thing that's going to require a little bit more uptime, and it's going to require you to have plenty of rage to slam. And a lot of times in PvP, you're going to be playing like Avatar, and I've been playing Deadly Calm for like leveling and stuff, and for dungeons and stuff, and it feels pretty dang good. But without the Deadly Calm rage, slamming to sort of reliably reset Mortal Strike might be a little bit rough. So that's going to be something to think about. So I don't know if this is going to be my first legendary. I'm very tempted, though. I'm tempted. But I do want to mention real quick, just speaking of talents, I want to make a couple things. I want to make a comprehensive warrior like guide video in addition to the sort of pre-patch guide I made for sure. And I would also like to make a talent in particular guide, because I think we get a lot of questions in particular about these kind of things on stream, and I'd like to have particular videos to link. And you guys know what happens with warrior guides is I talk a lot about warriors. I talk, you know, about everything, and I get really excited about that, but it takes a long time. So hopefully sometimes maybe we can make some particular videos and we can make some longer guides. But anyway, before this becomes a longer guide, let's keep going. So I'm very interested in Battle Lord. There's my reservation. We'll get to that in a second. But this comes from Torghast, level 3. Soul Forge is layer 3. Very easy to get. Very easy to get. So this is a cool one. Enduring Blow, your Mortal Strike has a 15% chance to apply the Colossus Smash effect to your target for 15 seconds. So this is another one that sounds like it should be so cool, right? It's like, whoa, Colossus Smashes are big cooldown. it makes people take 30% more damage for 10 seconds, right? But it's only 5 seconds. But it seems so cool, right? But 15% chance, it's a pretty low chance. But the thing that could be fun is if you could wear multiple legendaries later on, maybe, then this could work well with other things that interact with Mortal Strike, like Battle Lord, or like the big one that we're going to talk about in a second. Or Mortal Combo, right? Like if Mortal Combo, which is a conduit, which I also want to talk about, double taps Mortal Strike, and then it has a 15% chance to apply it, maybe that Colossus Smash debuff will happen more often. The thing is, this once again, the relatively low proc chance and the very low amount of time that Colossus Smash is actually on your target makes it something that's not super reliable. But this also drops in Torghast, so once Skuldus unlocks, probably pretty easy to get. It's just, this is probably just not going to be the one, right? It does interact in an interesting way with Mortal Strike. I like that. The procs are fun, but I just don't think it's going to be reliable enough to use consistently. Exploiter. So for all you Venthyr out there, this could be pretty fun. Execute causes the target to take 25% more damage for next Mortal Strike, so I got the 2 times. So like the Venthyr, the thing about Venthyr is that Condemn is super cool. It just is kind of like a weird rotation. So if you're not looking to do maximum damage off the bat, what you could do is you could charge in, get two Condemn stacks real quick, and then you could, you know, stun, Warbreaker, Mortal Strike for a big pop, or you could get it all the way stacked up with overpowers too. It's just, when I play with this, like I played with it on beta, it just takes a lot of like weird setup, and it doesn't really feel good. It feels exciting to hit with the hard Mortal Strike, but I didn't find the Mortal Strike to hit all that hard. So, for those of you Venthyr out there, Exploiter might be a good one to use just because you're pressing Condemn, you know, 55% of the time. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be the one that I pick as Night Fae or Kyrian or anything else, or even as Venthyr, because this one does drop from the last boss of the raid. I think this guy's the last boss. But the main thing is we have Unhinged. So Unhinged, while Ravager or Bladestorm is active, you automatically cast a total of 2 Mortal Strikes at random nearby enemies. And this drops from Zab the Unfallen and Theater of Pain. So it's going to take a bit of a grind to get this. I haven't gotten it yet. I've only run Theater of Pain like 1 time on Mythic. But this is going to be a good one. Okay? We've taken 12 minutes of the video to get into the one that I think is actually going to be the #1 choice to use. Okay? So Unhinged, I think it's going to be the #1. And the reason why is because it's not requiring any rage to cast Mortal Strikes. You're already Bladestorming, which is going to be hitting pretty hard. You're immune during this time, and you're going to be able to pop two big Mortal Strikes into somebody, in addition to your Deep Wounds ticks, your Spear ticks if they're locked in blades. If they're locked in the Spear, you know you're doing your big hit with your Night Fae Shockwave if that's what you're playing, and it's just big pumper damage for free. And you can Sweeping Strikes these Mortal Strikes. I would imagine these Mortal Strikes use Sharpen Blade as well. Like if you wanted to sharpen with those Mortal Strikes, you could. It's also something that will benefit from your overpower stacks too. So it could be a big hit while you're Bladestorming. The only thing that I'm concerned about is sometimes you do use Bladestorm as a root break. And so if you use Bladestorm with a root break, and you're just not getting any value out of your extra Mortal Strikes legendaries if you're trying to catch somebody after breaking that root, right? So something to think about, which is why I'm kind of curious about this Battle Lord thing. But I'm pretty sure Unhinged is just too pumper to pass up, especially if later on in the expansion, like right now I'm using Dreadnought a lot, but especially later on if we're using Anger Management again, and we're getting Bladestorms like, every, 45 seconds or something, then that's a pretty scary cooldown to use. And the game is very fast right now, so dropping 2 extra Mortal Strikes on somebody during a big offensive cooldown like Bladestorm, it's pretty spooky. So this, I would say, is a big candidate for #1, especially because it's going to be good in PvE too. Sweeping Strikes, Mortal Strikes while Bladestorming sounds pretty crazy for dungeons. But I still am, like I said, I'm very interested in this Battle Lord thing. And I have half a mind to go crazy and switch it up. That's okay, Archer. Do you want me to go Unhinged? Okay, if Archer wants me to go Unhinged, then maybe I will. But what's really happening is Archer was watching me record a video, and Mama says, come on, play something else. He's a good boy. But this is what I'm thinking, boys. Unhinged is your #1 bet. And then maybe Battlelord. I'm very curious about Battlelord, man. It's something that I'm thinking about. But Unhinged does seem really, really good. My reservation about Unhinged is that you're going to get a lot more Mortal Strikes out of Battlelord than you are Unhinged. I'm pretty sure you're going to get more Mortal Strikes during that cooldown on Bladestorm from resetting your Mortal Strike with Battlelord than you would with Unhinged. But what happens with Unhinged is that you're getting big Mortal Strikes during a big damage window anyway. And for PvP, a lot of times burst is the thing that's really scary, right? So consistent pressure is awesome, but burst is what ends games a lot of times. So this burst from Unhinged seems really, really good. So let's briefly talk about the Fury Warrior legendaries. But if you're going to take anything from this video and you want to say, okay, so just quick thing, what should I pick? Unhinged. That's pretty much where we're at right now. But Battlelord, like I said, it's very interesting to me. Very interesting. Some Fury legendaries for the Fury Warriors out there. Cadence of Fujita, this is like from your cloak back in the day. Bloodthirst increases your haste, and it stacks up quite a bit, which is neat. If it's only 1%, that sounds kind of weird. It's only 1% haste, and it takes 5 Bloodthirst to get to 5% haste. That seems kind of weird, but I think Haste's Fury Warrior does feel really good, and Haste is kind of tough to come by right now because we're kind of new in the expansion. Something to think about. So Rampage has a 30% chance to apply the Siege Breaker effect to your target. So it's kind of like the this one, the Enduring Blow for arms. The only thing is that Rampage is when you deal big damage as a Fury Warrior. So having it apply Siege Breaker during Rampage seems pretty good. Mortal Strike is definitely a nice chunk of damage for arms, but I think this effect is more powerful. Comes from Torghast, not too bad. This comes from a world boss, interesting. So Reckless Defense, Rampage critical strikes have a 20% chance to reduce the Wreck and Enrage cooldown by 3%, which is pretty fun, but the amount of reduction is only 3%, and the chance that you can do that is only 20%, and it's on a crit, which is a crit is pretty low. So this thing probably is not that great. There's a lot of situations that have to lead to a very small benefit, so that does not look great to me, but could be kind of fun. When Wreck expires, your critical strike is increased by a certain amount for 8 seconds. Not something I'm super thrilled about. So just at first glance, I would probably say Deathmaker seems pretty fun, and Fujita seems pretty fun. This one could be cool. There's just a lot of weird things have to happen. A low chance to crit, a low chance to proc off the crit, and a low amount of reduction on the cooldown seems kind of strange. Prot Warrior, boys, I don't know much about Prot. Gonna be honest with you, but we'll take a look at it anyway, just for you Prot Warriors out there. Reprisal, your first attack that you intercept with gives you Ignore Pain, and makes your next revenge cost no rage and deal much more damage. That's kind of fun. I'm not sure how much Prot Warriors are intervening around, but it's kind of like a nice way to pop a pack, right? Could be kind of cool. If this drops from Torghast. The Wall. Shield Slam generates an additional 5 rage and reduces the remaining cooldown of Shield Wall by 5 seconds. That one seems pretty cool. It's not like if Shield Slam crits, it has a 20% chance to do it. It's if Shield Slam hits, if you use the ability, it generates more rage and reduces the Shield Wall cooldown. That's pretty cool. But I still think there's other ones that you're going to use, if I'm not mistaken. So Thunderlord. Each enemy hit by Thunderclap reduces the remaining cooldown of Demo Shout by 1.5 seconds up to 4.5 seconds. In dungeons, you're just clapping everybody. So I love things that just reduce the cooldown. So this could be really fun to use. I think that would be my favorite. Shield Wall also grants 50% of its effect to nearby party members, which is insane. All nearby party members. So this is another big dungeon one. So I think these two are pretty fun. All these seem pretty fun. But maybe the Demo Shout one is the best. But having Shield Slam give you reduced Shield Wall cooldown and have Shield Wall give everybody Shield Wall, it sounds kind of crazy. That could be very powerful, I think, for surviving big, tough mobs in even in raid, but also probably in dungeons the most. So that's the main thing. But all right, team, I wanted to make this video for you. I hope that we got it done. Hope we did a good job with this. Now there were some general legendary powers as well that we could talk about. Because one of the legendary powers that's a general legendary power, I think is good. There was one of them, like the Judgment of the Arbiter, I hear is good for raiding. I just don't know if I want to rely on this thing. It's just not very exciting to me. It just has a chance to proc damage. So I'm not really pumped about that. And it's definitely not the kind of thing that you're going to do for PvP. One thing that you might want to mention, though, so all of these are some effects that I don't find super compelling for Warrior. The one thing that you might want to consider, though, is this. Cephas's Proclamation. It reduces the effectiveness of crowd control and controlling effects by 10%. I don't believe this stacks with not adaptation, relentless. It doesn't stack with relentless in terms of the PvP trinket, but it does stack with orc. So orc with the trinket and the Cephuses is not going to be stunned for very long. So you can just wear a trinket and never get stunned and just trinket out of polys or something if you wanted to. This is pretty powerful, like especially for like orc healers. If you wanted to wear this, it would be very, very ineffective to CC an orc healer with this. But anyway, successfully applying a loss of control effect, interrupting an enemy or dispelling any target, which is also going to be really good for healers, will increase all your secondary stats by 80 for 15 seconds. This cannot occur more than 30 seconds. So I think this could be really good for healers. I don't know what healers get, but it could be pretty powerful. I don't know if this is something that you're going to want to use as a warrior. It could be something that you consider if you're like getting CC'd a ton. You're like, okay, I want to be unable to be CC'd or CC'd very for a short period of time. Then it's something to think about. But I'm pretty sure that you're just going to rock Unhinged and clap people with Mortal Strikes during Blade Storm. But like I said, let's wrap this up on a good note. Not necessarily the shortest video, but you guys know that I love to chat about this kind of stuff. And we have plenty more warrior info videos coming up. Like I said, there's a talent video that I'd like to go over quickly just for talents. But that might just need to be wrapped up in an overall arms warrior guide, because there's definitely a lot to talk about in Shadowlands. It's a blast so far. Definitely digging it and having a blast playing it, having a blast creating content for it. So make sure that you guys show the video some love and subscribe, and I suppose enable notifications, because we are pumping out videos these days, and I would love for you guys to be able to see them all and enjoy them. But like I said, let's wrap it up here for now. Thanks so much for watching. Hope this video helps. We'll see you guys on the stream and the videos. Until next time, thanks for watching, dudes. Peace.